Guess what? You just proved that advertising on podcasts works. Reach thousands of local listeners each week and grow your business. Reach out to Talkin Bengals today to find out more by emailing talkinbengals@gmail.com.
Hello and welcome into Talking Bengals episode number 96, closing it on the century mark. But for this week, we do have some exciting topics that we're going to get into. Right now, this is Talking Bengals Classic. It's just Nick and I on this one so far. Nick, how you doing?
Doing all right. Little Who Dey action going on.
The whoest of the day. Exactly. So we're going to go with an off-the-cuff topic before we get into our script ones here. So the topic of the day, Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins didn't show up to voluntary off-season workouts. What? Nick, what are your thoughts on this craziness?
Oh, well. Two elite wide receivers that they practice all off season anyway on their own. They do their own workouts on their own all the time anyway. I would assume that Ja'Marr Chase and Joe Burrow probably play catch on their own. I mean, and probably away from the field, right? Away from everybody else watching them do it. You know, probably have a little private one-on-one session where they run routes and stay familiar with each other. And maybe this might be an opportunity for Joe Burrow to get comfortable throwing to other wide receivers. So it may be an actual strategy. I don't know. Let's not freak out about it. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying let's not freak out.
No, let's absolutely freak out. No, I'm just kidding. How can you freak out about this? It's silly. It's ridiculous. This is early off-season training activities. There's no reason to freak out, no reason to worry, absolutely no cause for alarm. T. Higgins isn't going to show up until the preseason games or, at the end of preseason anyway. So stop talking about him. He's not doing anything wrong by doing that either. That's just what his agent's telling him to do. That's what he's going to do. As soon as it's mandatory, Ja'Marr Chase will be there. But yeah, why does he need to come and put more wear and tear on his body when he's still doing workouts on his own? He's not missing anything that's, crucial and critical. They're not implementing the entire new playbook right now. So this is just clickbait type stuff. And yes, we had a poll out to see if people were worried about it. No, we were not trying to be clickbaity. So trolls, watch out. We will snap back. But as well, most of the people in the poll voted as well. We're not concerned. No one's really concerned about it. It's just people trying to cause others to panic and make it a big deal when it's not. But, all pro caliber wide receivers not showing up to the initial offseason training, not concerning at all. Not in the least. So I'm not worried about it. Let's move into more exciting news. Zac Taylor came out and said that he is going to take a step back and let Dan Pitcher run the offense and call plays. I know Nick is just chomping at the bit, so I'll let him take first on this one too. Go ahead, Nicholas.
It is about flipping time. Okay? When you are running on 3rd and 12, game on the line, and you run either a draw play or a screen play, what? Unless you are in 4-down territory and you have them all spread out and check down to it, why? You go down, first drive, you're moving the ball like crazy, right? And you go down 7-8 plays, 85 yards, touchdown. Very next drive. Second, maybe third play if you got a first down on one of the first couple plays. We run a wide receiver reverse pass. What? We have the most elite quarterback in the entire league. And you want a wide receiver to throw a ball? Come on. Just come on. You're playing with me, right? Like that's terrible. That's like pee-wee football. That's when you have like your best athletes are in your backfield, and it doesn't matter who has the ball. They can all do the same thing. That's what you do in Pee Wee ball. You're talking about professional athletes that have honed a skill. That skill is catching a ball and running with it as a wide receiver and maybe throwing a couple blocks here and there. And as a quarterback, your skill is throwing the ball to somebody who may or may not be wide open. If you can throw the ball like Joe Burrow and thread the needle, how about we leave him to be the one throwing the ball? And then Jake Browning comes out, shows a big, big outing, and then you do the same thing. Come on. Come on. I don't care if somebody played high school quarterback at one point in their life when they were a sophomore. They played 3 games in high school as a high school quarterback, as a sophomore in high school. These are professional athletes. Let them do what they get paid to do, which is run the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball, block, tackle. I mean, it's not like throwing a defensive end, and so that way you have somebody who can hit somebody to block on like a goal line stand. That's different. That's a similar skill. It's totally different when you're trying to get a wide receiver who's used to catching the ball to throw it.
Well, I'm not totally opposed to that kind of trick play, but it has to be the perfect situation. And the thing that got me, I know the one you're referencing there where Boyd threw the interception behind the line when the game was going well. You've got to tell whoever it is, you got to have a plan to where either you're going to take that very first look or you're going to tuck and run. That's it. Either the look down the field is there or you just tuck it and run. And, I mean, that's just poor execution, poor communication. But, I mean, Joe Mixon has as many touchdown passes in a Super Bowl as Joe Burrow. So, I mean, it can work, but you have to tell whoever that extra, the additional quarterback is that if that one look isn't there, you're now a running back and just run. Because you're not trying to make decisions on the fly and find your second and third read. No, you have one person you're looking to throw to. If they're not open, just get as many yards as you can. That's it.
Throw it away.
Or throw it away. If the situation's bad enough, throw it away. But, yeah, if you can get a couple yards, might as well run for them. But, yeah, if you're going to get sacked 10 yards behind the line, just throw it out of bounds. Just make sure to be on the tackle box and throw it out of bounds. But I think this shows a lot of maturity on Zac Taylor's part because he's starting to understand what a head coach is. And, yes, I've not been a head coach in professional football or anything like that, so I don't need the trolls coming after me for that. But you're a leader. And your job as the head coach is the overall strategy and management of the personnel. You shouldn't be in the trenches, play by play, doing every single thing, making every decision. You need to be the guy who's a voice of reason. Like, okay, the offensive coordinator, maybe he didn't think of something. And you're just like, hey, have you thought about this every now and then? Not every play. Give him an idea. Talk to the D coordinator. Hey, I've seen they've done this all game. We may want to adjust to do that. You're providing those ideas. You got to be able to see things that no one else sees. And in order to do that, you have to take a step back, trust your subordinate coaches, let them do their jobs, and then you manage the personnel, you manage the overall culture of the team, the overall game day strategy working toward, and then you let them execute the plan, and you manage the clock and people. That's really what you need to do as a head coach, is manage the clock, manage the people, make sure everything's good. And holy cow, guess who decided to join us? Absolutely wonderful. Bernsey is here. What are your thoughts on that topic, Bernsey?
I still love moms.
You still love moms. All right, well, that's good. We're talking about Zac Taylor taking a step back from being the play caller. So go ahead. You can tell us your thoughts on that.
I think it's like 3 years too late, but I'll allow it. I want to see how the offense operates with a lesser role for Zac Taylor. So it's gonna be interesting. But I think it opens up the offense a lot more. It gives us an opportunity. Hold on a second. Stupid technology coming up with ads and stuff.
Take your career to new heights with constructive curiosity. Whether it's career coaching, mental performance training, or business management consulting, constructive curiosity has the insight to get it right. Visit constructivecuriosity.com to get started today.
I thought you paid for this service, by the way.
We do. It's the finest that Turkey has to offer.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So somehow we're still giving this to Russia.
Hey, if we get listeners and fans anywhere in the world, I am totally fine with that. So if you want to be blasting us in the former Soviet Republic, you do your thing. It's perfectly fine. Communist bloc, we don't support communism, but we'll take clicks.
As long as you like the Bengals, I don't care.
Like our stuff, click on it. We're good to go.
Oh, you're talking about clickbait? Because that's what we do. Clickbait.
Man, even Bernsey is piling on the trolls. I like it. I said trolls have been warned. We will snap back.
Hey, I am the troll. What is it? Trollmeister?
Yeah.
What is it called?
The Trollmeister. Oh, goodness. All right, moving on. Ring of Honor discussion here. So the nominees for the Ring of Honor, if you have not already seen, which if you haven't seen it, we'll let you know. It's been out for a little while. But Jim Breach, kicker, all-time leading scorer for the Bengals. James Brooks, running back way ahead of his time, 1984 to 1991, could actually still play in the NFL for his style of play today if he was a current player. Many of these guys wouldn't quite be able to do that because the game has changed so much, but he was versatile, great all-around athlete, just a fantastic guy. Nick's favorite Bengal of all time, Chris Collinsworth, is on there as well. Nick's mean mugging me if you're not watching this and you're listening. Corey Dillon, David Fulcher. So if you don't remember David Fulcher, great safety for the Bengals. Tim Crumry, nose tackle. Dave Lapham, offensive guard, but more importantly, has been a part of the organization for I think this is his 50th season. So Dave Lapham, just a great Bengals personality and player. Max Montoya, offensive guard for both Super Bowl teams. Lamar Parrish, arguably the best cornerback in Bengals history. I was not alive when he was playing, but from what you hear from people that did watch him play, Ken Riley got a lot of interceptions because people were afraid to throw it toward Lamar Parrish. So not taking anything away from the great Ken Riley, but it does help when you have another scary guy on the other side of the field that nobody wants to throw to. Bob Trumpy is another one, and then Reggie Williams is the last nominee for this year. So, Bernsey, who are you picking for your two picks?
Well, Corey Dillon is obviously number one pick in my opinion. This probably could have been one of the first ones we did. My second pick, although I want to go James Brooks because I love Brooks. I worked with Brooks a few days ago, or a few years ago, not days, years ago. But great human being, awesome worker, was an awesome running back. Like you said, Casey, he was before his time. But I got to go Lap on this one only because, you know, he does a lot for the organization. He's been a part of the organization for 50 years. So my two this year are going to be Corey Dillon and Dave Lapham.
Nick, who you got?
I'll take James Brooks and Dave Lapham. Before the podcast started, Casey and I were kind of, you know, just joshing around a little bit while we were waiting on Bernsey to show up because, you know, he likes being late. And
every day.
And you know, James Brooks, I mean, that's just obvious why. And then, but Dave Lapham, like you guys have said, he's been around for 50 years. Been a vital part of the Bengals organization, big part of the community. He does a lot with, you know, the podcast. He does a lot with, you know, announcing the games on local television, or is it radio? It's radio. I don't know why it's television. He's
preseason.
Yeah, preseason TV.
Okay. Lap just does a lot, and just definitely somebody that should be honored. You know, he's been there for almost as long as what the Brown family has been. So,
well, see, they need to do more than just player categories. I get he was a player, and you know, Paul Brown's in there as the only non-player right now, but Dave Lapham's playing career was respectable. He was a good player, but he's not the same caliber of player as the other people we're talking about on the list. I mean, honestly, if you look at the stats, he's just not quite that guy. But he should be the other category, get voted in. Like you should have either your coach, player, or, coach or team something like, works with the team somehow. There should be one person a year gets in for that and then two players. Because, yeah, you could say he was a player as well, but it's the impact he had off the field. Because, I mean, him and Dan Horde, their coffin nails, bam, 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 is iconic. And I remember they came up with that, I think, in like 2017 or 18, when the team wasn't very good. So you didn't really get to hear it a whole lot then. But for those memorable runs to the Super Bowl and the AFC title game, you're just hearing Dan yell that, then bam, bam, bam. It just sealed the game for you. You loved it. So I don't want to leave Lap out, but for his playing skills or he's a great player, or a good player, not great player. And we're looking at great players who you can't tell the story of the Bengals for the initial, 4 classes. I don't think Lap would be in as a player for that. Corey Dillon, he's a jerk to the media. He was a jerk to a lot of people around Cincinnati. And that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame, is because the media hates him. And that's not just in Cincinnati. That's everywhere. No one in the media likes him. No one talks about him. But if you want to talk about a Hall of Fame career, Corey Dillon had a Hall of Fame career. Fantastic running back. He was the player for this team for 8 years, 7-8 years, where he was the premier guy. Nobody came to see anybody else really, except for Corey Dillon, until Chad got there. So you had a break from Shake and Blake to Ocho Cinco, where it was all about Corey Dillon. That's the only guy who was worth coming to see. So, yeah, maybe he's a jerk. He has a bad attitude. He complained last year that he didn't get into the Ring of Honor. But he's still a great player. He deserves the honor. And, Bengals fans of a certain era, ours, we really appreciate what he brought to the team because no one else was bringing anything worth watching. It was like Blake, Pickens, and Scott faded away, and Corey Dillon is all we had. And without Corey Dillon, you knew they were going to lose. Even with Corey Dillon, a lot of times they lost, but it was not for his lack of effort. So Corey Dillon
was not.
Yeah, Corey Dillon's a no-brainer to me. He has to be in. I don't know if he'll get the popular vote, but we'll see. And the sneak one here that I guess no one else is going to go with is Jim Breach. All-time leading scorer, fantastic kicker, was on the team for both Super Bowl runs. The best kicker in franchise history. I know Doug Pelfrey fans are here, and I'm not putting Dougie down. Doug's a great kicker. But Jim Breach, as far as points, longevity, and years of impact, going to 2 different Super Bowls, that's a lot of, credentials that you're putting there that poor Pelfrey didn't quite have because the team around him was not as good. But yeah, I think Jim
about
Breach,
that though. Let's talk about that real quick.
let's unpack it.
Doug, every opportunity. I don't know what I'm going to go Nick here. I don't have any stats because I wasn't prepared. Okay. But Doug was probably one of the more accurate kickers we've had, I want to say, but he just didn't have the opportunity. So how can you compete for, all-time leading scorers when you don't have the opportunity because your team can't get you in field goal range, or you're not scoring touchdowns, so you can't do PATs. So I think that's why Doug should be in this conversation, but that's just me.
Not only that, Doug Pelfrey is also a good person. So
great human being. Has great organization, Kick for Kids for so long. I don't think they've done much since 2020. But at least they don't publish it on social media if they do, or at least book face they don't, which is our medium. But yeah,
A book of faces, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug Pelfrey really is the reason why, as a kid, I wanted to kick.
Big facts.
But I
That's
think,
the reason why I
we
practice.
do also have the blinders on because Pelfrey was our guy and Breach was before our time. So we can't. It's an apples to oranges for us, unfortunately, because I do have bias.
I'm biased, okay?
Yeah.
I am
I got to watch Pelfrey kick. I did also see him lose his job to Neil Rackers. So that was bad.
Well,
right
I
about-
mean, he was getting all up there at that point, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how old he is. He's probably what, like 52, 53 now.
something.
I would
I'm
take
gonna
him
Google it.
over. I would take him over Brad Robbins to punt for us right now. I'll tell you that.
I thought you were about to say you're gonna take him over McPherson. I was gonna be like, okay, Zach, you're off.
Oh
You're
no,
out of
money,
here.
money,
You're out of
money
here.
Mac all day long, baby. That's my two.
Yeah, 53 years old. So that was a good guess. That was a really good guess there.
I mean, we only went to the same church for like 13 years.
Yeah, so apparently Doug is the guy who's going to come on for our 100th episode then, because Zach's got connections.
Well, I also haven't talked to Doug in 16 years, so
Hey, remember me? I was an annoying kid. How you doing?
I still got the jersey.
Born 2 days before I was, but just like 19 years before me. Like 19
Old
years
enough
and
to
2
be.
days.
What you're saying is that he's old enough to be your dad.
I mean, if
Yeah.
if it wasn't so obvious, my dad was my dad. Yeah, I mean, I would probably try to do the Barney Stinson and claim
Mm,
him.
No,
Barney Fife.
no. Ring of Honor. Is there anybody of those nominees that you think should not be a Ring of Honor nominee?
Chris Collinsworth.
Now, I know you're not a fan of him as an announcer, but he is one of the top Bengals receivers in the franchise history.
Just let me explain. Just let me explain. Okay.
Go ahead.
Now here's the
Podium Automotive is a proud sponsor of Talkin Bengals. In Greater Cincinnati, it's Podium Automotive for all your auto needs. Skilled technicians, quality service you can trust, and fair prices. Tell us Talkin Bengals sent you and get 5% off all services. Schedule your appointment today on Facebook at Podium Automotive or call 859-869-0097.
Anyway,
This is the guy.
now here's the guy.
All of his fame and fortune is there because of who he played for and what he did for the organization when he played there. And then instead of honoring that, right, Ring of Honor, he then decides to take a poop on the organization every chance he gets. And then whenever Patty Mahomes shows up, R-rated. I can't say it.
now, I mean, I will agree though. So he's the number 5 receiver all time on Bengals history. Number 1 is in the Ring of Honor. Where did that go? Number 1's in the Ring of Honor. Number 3 is in the Ring of Honor. Number 2 and 4 are not even been nominees yet. I don't know if AJ Green, who's the number 2, has had long enough out of the NFL because he only retired last year. So maybe they want to give him a little more time out of football before they do that. But my man Carl Pickens, why is he not on the list? Why is he not a nominee? I mean, I don't know.
He should be there over Chris Collinsworth.
I mean, Collinsworth, the thing that gets him too is he was in the 80s. Like you said, the timing. Being a Bengals receiver in the 80s, being their leading receiver for both Super Bowl runs in the 80s, gives him a little bit of a heads up. But I mean, this is where it comes down to like the Pro Football Hall of Fame, in my opinion, where a lot of players on Super Bowl teams get higher accolades than better athletes and better professionals. So if you had to tell me you get Chris Collinsworth or Carl Pickens, who are you picking? Yeah, Carl Pickens. Yeah, who's going to doubt that? So, I mean, if you're going to say his off-the-field stuff, because he has done a lot around the team before he was an announcer, I think he's afraid to show bias as an announcer. I mean, he's not my favorite guy to listen to. His voice is not overall pleasing. So, but I mean, I think he's so afraid to show bias toward the Bengals that he goes the opposite. Thackeray, what are your thoughts?
I immediately think baseball when you talk about talent and performance versus a guy that Super Bowls / World Series. That sounds interesting. That sounds very interesting. But
Auto.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame, Zach. He'll be in the
Okay.
Reds Hall of Fame and in the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
just saying.
I'm not
Just
doubting
saying.
it.
All right. As long as we're clear.
Yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve that. I'm saying he could have been better, and I don't particularly care for him.
The whole organization could have been better throughout his entire prime.
Exactly. They could have been.
We
The Reds are
wasted
dog
it.
crap. Yeah, the Reds are dog crap. We can't help that.
We lost 7-1 to the daggone Cardinals after a 4-game win streak.
Don't dog on my red legs.
Oh, I'm dogging on them because they're mine too.
17 and 21 or 17 losses in 21 games.
No. 11, 12, 13, just kidding. I only had a 3-year spout of being a season ticket holder, and then I decided I was going to be a father. So,
we had a good
sorry,
run, though. Those were bad years.
no. The only one that was a bad year was 11. So, and then I guess because I decided I was going to father children, the Reds decided that they weren't going to do anything either. So
you didn't really miss out too much.
Exactly.
That's true. And then the Army started moving me around the country. So haven't been.
And the kids. The kids are a little bit more rewarding than the Reds. So.
Not knocking, any of that. However, I haven't been to a game since September 2019. I've been trying to go to opening day every year since then, and I haven't been able to. Something has come up.
I went last year. We paid, it was like $40 a ticket for lower outfield and left center. Pretty decent seats. But of course, we got to watch the Reds get murked.
Nick, do you remember trying to help me propose at opening day in 2014?
Oh Lord, we're off.
We
the
tried.
Reservation here.
We tried.
We definitely tried. It was not successful. Casey, I don't know if you've ever heard this story or not, but
yeah, I have. We're off season mode, so I'm all ears.
All right. Well, so Cheyenne is super sick. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get us WW double dubs, if you will, in the lower section, so we don't have to go up flights and stairs or anything like that. It's handy accessible row, basically. Okay. We are sitting there, and they decide to do the Cincinnati German-esque sauerkraut. She heard me say sauerkraut. Oh, she is sick the entire game. She's in pain. Mind you, we had a first traumatic experience in the first 3 months with our oldest. And oh boy. So I'm texting Nick like, dude, I don't know how this is going to work. He's like, take the video. Just meet me down here. And I'm like, no, dude, we're going home. Like, whatever the case may be. So we beat feet. We go home. We do it in the privacy of our of her parents' house because of the day that it ended up being. But Nick was all for it and trying to help me, and Kathleen was trying to help me, but it didn't work. It did not work. We definitely tried. So
we tried.
But take two was more memorable. Yeah, right. Oh, and then it's even better is that I tried to record it on my phone, and I had it set up, and guess what happened? My phone fell over as second as she came downstairs.
See, that's real life for you right there. Real life.
Yep. Yeah, all these people that get it caught up and work with friends. Nah, bro. Like we had a legitimate this is us.
We had it planned.
Well, see, now Zach's going to edit this and make sure he gives it to Cheyenne for their anniversary. Like,
she just listened to me tell it. She just listened to me tell the whole story.
Tell her to come wave.
She's not coming to wave. She's going to go lay down.
Yeah. Well, I keep joking. We're going to have the wives on for one of these episodes so they can just tell us how dumb we are the entire time.
Oh, we should just.
Looking for a great book? Check out Once Left the Field of Valor,
When Damien Shaw finds a blood-stained envelope after a battle, he is struck by a series of debilitating flashbacks that threaten to unhinge him. The letter leads him on a grueling journey of penance to present it to its intended recipient. This addicting page-turner is filled with action, suspense, romance, and perseverance. It will keep you on edge to the very end and leave you wanting more. Get your printed edition or ebook today on Amazon.
Wife swap. No, wait, hold on. That came
No,
out.
no.
Whoa.
No thanks.
This is a PG podcast. We're not going there.
Husband wife swap. They just do the episode for us and just talk about the Bengals in our place. That's
Like
what
Kathleen
I meant.
with dog on them. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Oh God. Never mind. Everybody but Kathleen.
So basically, Cheyenne not talking much about because she doesn't like football, and Tiffany talking about how annoying I am being a Bengals fan. Okay. Fair.
And then
Fair.
we can bring Kristen in for Josh.
Yeah, she's actually.
And then
she's really not
Nick is
tough.
the moderator. Nick will be the moderator.
That'll go over real well. I'll wind up making somebody mad.
Yeah, probably pretty quickly too. All right, we got to circle back to actual topics here at some point.
Oh, shoot. My
So,
bad.
No, that was
Wait, we
good.
have
I like it.
topics?
We got to fill time here, but quickly before we jump back onto the script, I think only the top 5 Bengals receivers right now would make it into the Ring of Honor, to include Collinsworth, because the next group, Eddie Brown, I don't think so. Tyler Boyd, you can't make it in as a slot guy. You didn't do quite enough. I don't think he's there. I mean, there's also, when I'm saying that, there's a significant yard difference once you get past a certain point. So Boyd hit 6,000, literally right on 6,000 yards. So that's respectable. Then you start dropping into the 5'9", 4,700, 4,600. So you drop off significantly. But we'll just have to wait and see what time holds. I think Jamar Chase, as long as everything goes well, will be a Ring of Honor guy, hopefully a Hall of Fame guy, hopefully a multi-Super Bowl winner with the Bengals. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. But right now, got a Ring of Honor people. Got me so off topic. Now I got to figure out what our actual next scripted thing was. Who Dey history. Who Dey history this week is brought to you by Constructive Curiosity. So for all your mental performance needs, your career coaching expertise that you need to go after, as well as your business management consulting, it's Constructive Curiosity. Visit constructivecuriosity.com for more details.
And I can second that.
Yeah, if you want to have your business promoted on this podcast, reach out to us today and we will get you hooked up. Really affordable prices, lots of airtime. Just let us know. But Who Dey history this week will be the best pre-2000s running back. So, gentlemen, I hope you have thought long about this one. I'm not going to put anything else out there to make this not PG rated, but think well about who you want to put out on for this. And Nick, you're up first.
Oh, man, I was going to let Zach go. Anyways, all right. I like Ickey Woods. He was electric for the season. And the Bengals history, just come on. You got to go Who Dey history as it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the Ickey Shuffle. Who doesn't know the Ickey Shuffle? If you don't know the Ickey Shuffle, you're not a Bengals fan. I mean, heck, even Kathleen knows the Ickey Shuffle.
Well, it's also called the cold cut stance now. Get your cold cuts. Get your cold cuts.
I know. I remember the commercial, but
Okay, all right.
Is Zach talking?
I love you. Always be late.
Well, now you're getting death stared. I guess you can go ahead, Zach.
I can't hear anything, or I don't even know if you guys are talking.
Okay. Well, Nick is apparently lost, so we'll go ahead and let you take your time here. Nicholas, we are talking. I don't sign so well, but we are talking. Go ahead, Zach.
Can you now hear us? All right. Well, pre-2000s running back. Ickey's a great individual to pick on that one. However, I have to go Corey Dillon because I'm a 90s kid, and Corey was the guy. You know, we all thought in 95, John Connor was going to be that, and it did not go well. Yeah, John Carter. So Yeah, thank God that didn't work out, because then we would have not had anything to look forward to, and we probably would have not had a Corey Dillon per se. So that'll be my pick as far as that goes. Can you hear us now? Do you want to finish your story about Cut and Ickey Woods?
Oh yeah. So Ickey Woods, right? I mean, everybody knows the Ickey Shuffle. I don't know what happened with my headset. Apparently, it just decided that it didn't want to work. But everybody knows the Ickey Shuffle, even people who are not Cincinnati Bengals fans. And it just quite simply, it goes great with Bengals history. What could have been, right? What could have been? Chris Henry, what could have been? Not as tragic as Chris Henry, but still, Ickey getting hurt the very next season, and just what could have been. Ickey was just a talent, obviously a staple in Cincinnati. I don't know. One of my favorites.
Yeah, still a legend. Still does awesome things. Has a bee in a bag during the Super Bowl run. That was awesome. I liked it. It's hilarious now. The bee in a bag is a real thing. Yeah, probably one of my favorite rulers of the jungle. It was good to watch. But I'm going to get into a guy we talked about a little bit earlier, James Brooks. Phenomenal, fantastic. Played with the Bengals from 84 to 91. But one of the first times I remember seeing him play was on a video. But you got to watch him on two different teams on the same video. Because the 1988 Bengals VHS tape that I wore out, he was on the Bengals, but they also showed a flashback to the Freezer Bowl where he played for the Chargers. His first 3 seasons were with the San Diego Chargers, and he lost the Freezer Bowl to the Bengals, which is fantastic. There's nothing better than losing to the team and then going to the team because you realize they're better than the Chargers anyway. But, yeah, so that was great to get to watch that. But his stats, they really do speak for themselves. He just has all kinds of great things that he had going for him. 162 total games in his career, rushing yards, almost 8,000 yards, 79-62, 49 touchdowns. Receiving, he was no slouch either, 3,600 yards, 30 receiving touchdowns. So that is a dual threat running back. That is the definition of dual threat. He can do everything. And he was really, everybody thinks about Ickey Woods. A few people think about Stanley Wilson, not for good reasons usually. But they think of those two guys. But really, James Brooks was the best running back on that team. He could catch, he could run, and he just made impact plays throughout the season. But throwing it back even further, I'm going to talk about Pete Johnson. So for those who don't know who Pete Johnson was, he was the best running back on the first Super Bowl team. Archie Griffin was supposed to be the guy, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. NFL career was garbage. No nice way to put it. But Pete Johnson was the guy who, nobody thought he was supposed to be the premier dude. And he came out and he had a heck of a career. Looking at his rushing yards, 56-26, being that they were a multiple back team, that's a lot. 76 touchdowns, that's a lot of touchdowns. And he was definitely inside the red zone. He was tough to stop, except for during the Super Bowl, where the Bengals just couldn't figure anything out until they were coming back from 21-point deficit. But, yeah, he didn't have a great game then, but Archie Griffin had an even worse game, so don't need to go on that one. Why are we bringing up bad Super Bowl memories? Sorry. Bad me.
They're all bad.
Bad. All bad. Not so much of a receiving threat. Only had 1,300 yards and 6 touchdowns receiving. But he was a big guy, so I don't think you really need to worry about that. Let's see. How big is he? 6 foot, 252 pounds. Big guy. Running over people. I could be Pete Johnson at this point in time. I'm not as fast or strong, but I weigh about the same. So there we go. So I'm going to start telling people I have the body of one of the Bengals' best running backs of all time. He was pure muscle. I'm not quite that, but hey.
Dad bod power.
That's what we're talking about. All right, so moving into our next topic, our off-season topic, if you will. So we put it out there to you all, and the fans voted. And we're going to be going with best 80s action movies. Gentlemen, you can pick 3 to give 3 cheers. So 3 to give 3 cheers, and however many you want, up to 3 for 3 jeers of bad ones. Because I always like to balance it out. Little yin and yang here. So, Zach, you're up first.
Dang it. So action movie. There's so many. They're so good. I'm not gonna say Rocky, because one, that's cliche. Everybody immediately goes Rocky. Number two is all right. Like, will I watch it and do a Rocky marathon? Absolutely, because who wouldn't? But
Yep.
it's okay. Rambo. I go Rambo. Rambo is amazing.
No, hold on, wait. Are we talking the original or are we talking all the crazy ones afterwards?
No, not like we're talking 80s. We're talking about the 80s Rambo.
Yeah,
right?
we're talking First Blood only, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. That's
Okay.
respectable.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not talking about the stuff they try to redo, now. Because we got CGI and all this other crazy technology stuff. So Rambo would probably be in my top 3 action movies. I don't know. I'm more of a rom-com guy. I mean, that's kind of my personality anyway, right? Like, so when it comes to 80s actions, I think of the Seagal movies. Again, I wasn't, it's okay. Can I classify Back to the Future as an action movie?
Yes.
Okay, that's definitely up there. 1 and 2, because 2 is probably my favorite of the 3. And then,
Wait. We got to read. You said 2?
yeah,
Who's
100%.
your favorite?
Yes.
All right, Nick. Are you going to agree with that or are you going to disagree?
I wanted,
Yeah.
hold on, hear me out. I liked the concept of going to 2015 to see that the Cubbies win the World Series. In all factuality, it didn't actually happen. Okay. It just happened in 2016 instead of 2015. Again, prime opportunity to fix baseball, to make that legitimate, and we didn't do it. But, we can
I don't know.
secretly
original's hard to
steal
beat.
money from a billionaire baseball player for gambling, and it didn't happen. But we can't get the Cubs to win it in 2015 to line up with Back to the Future Part 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the original's the best Back to the Future.
Okay. Worst. The knockoffs, the B-list movies that were like Rambo and Rocky. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
I think they all they're. I definitely throw all the Seagal movies in there because I just never been a fan of Steven Seagal, but that's just me. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So yeah. Again,
All
I'm
right,
a rom-com
Nicholas, what do
guy.
you got?
Give me 16 Candles. Pretty in
Good
Pink.
movie. I guess we're going to do that next time. Is we're going to go rom-coms from the 80s. All right, Nick, you're up. Action movies. Before all
right.
our man cards are revoked.
There can only be one Highlander. No, I'm just kidding. My favorite of all time, definitely the first Die Hard, Nakatomi Tower. I mean, come on. That's a Christmas movie.
It is not a Christmas movie.
It is 100% a Christmas
You said
movie.
it's not.
It's 100%.
He said it's a Bruce Bleeping Willis movie. He said it himself.
Care. It's a Christmas movie. Top Gun.
Super
I love
geeky.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Top Gun's my favorite. Highway to the Danger Zone. God, when Goose died, I mean, even to this day, I still get onions being cut around me for some reason. It just happens every time I watch that movie when Goose dies. And really, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark. I just love it. Indiana Jones, really all the Indiana Jones movies, just except for the more recent ones.
Yeah.
Just give me all of them. Bad ones, Aliens. I thought that movie was miserably stupid. Just why? I love the Predator movies. Just I wouldn't put them as like top. And then I'm also with Burnsley, Steven Seagal. And he was so cheesy in like his action scenes like with him kicking people and stuff. It was just like, you're not even kicking them. Like, it's so bad that like when I was a kid, I was like, this is so fake. Like it wasn't like, Three Ninjas Kick Back or anything like that.
Whoa, Three Ninjas Kick Back. Whoa.
Hold on.
Whoa,
Hold
sir.
on. Is that
That
a
is-
jeer or is that a cheer? Like, was that a
Ninjas?
Was that a
That
shot?
was 90s movie.
I know, but are you
It is
taking a
nice.
shot? Are you taking a shot at my ninjas?
No, that was a cheer.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
good.
say.
That's a great movie.
All right.
That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Was Three Ninjas.
You were about to
That
get
and
kicked
Sandlot.
off the pod for the rest of the week.
The rest of the week. Oh Lord. If there wasn't me here, it'd just been Casey earlier.
Hey, he can talk to himself.
I could. I've done it
He
before.
does it all the time
It'll
anyway.
happen again.
He does it all
It'll
the time
happen
anyway.
again.
But I mean, you have to look back like the Predator movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's just Conan. Then you start pulling in Eddie Murphy, Scarface. There's so many good 80s movies. So many good 80s movies. And then, all right, I'm going to go on the rom-com a little bit.
Oh, Lord.
Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Love Breakfast
Breakfast
Club.
Club's a great movie.
Great movie.
Is it really
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
rom-com?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of it's that cult classic kind of thing.
I'm
it falls
going
in
to
that
say it's
genre.
like a rom-com. I'm going to call it like a rom-com because everybody ends up
It's an
dating.
80s.
They wind up dating people at the end, right? There's some form of romance at the
Yeah.
end.
Romance. Can I make gestures on this show?
Yes, you can make whatever gestures you want to make, but all right. So I guess I'll go ahead and jump in here. So
All right,
great
let's go.
movies as far as action movies go. I'm not going to repeat any, but there's been some fantastic ones that have been told. Iron Eagle, great movie. Is it realistic? No. Does it make sense? You've never seen Iron Eagle? Homework, young man. It is the
Great
Air
movie.
Force's answer to Top Gun. That's much less realistic, but is a fantastic movie nonetheless. Shoot, the guy just died. What's his name? I can't think of his name all of a sudden. Nick, help me out here. What's the actor's name? Lou Gossett Jr. He's in Top Gun. Or not Top Gun. He's in Iron Eagle. All like 25 Iron Eagles as well. They had a crap ton of spin after the original. Original's a great movie. Nick talks about when Goose dies. The other one is when you think Chappie's dead. You're like, Chappie! So he pops in the tape and Chappie's talking to him. He goes in and blows up all the random Middle Eastern country people because they don't even tell you who they're fighting. But Iron Eagle's an awesome movie. Zach has now got homework to watch Iron Eagle. And then, because we've talked about a lot of other movies, I'm going back-to-back Swayze here. I'm going with Red Dawn because Wolverines. Great movie.
Red
The original, the new one sucked. The original's awesome. And then Roadhouse.
Ooh.
How do you not love Roadhouse?
Can't get into Roadhouse, man. It's just like
What?
Just reminds me of the Ron White stand-up. The guys they watch Roadhouse and that stuff to themselves. And
To be fair, I liked Roadhouse before I heard Ron White's joke, but it did make it funny because they act like being a bouncer super cool. But it's just a great movie. Roadhouse is an awesome action movie. It is also on the list for worst action movies of the 80s, but that person's just jealous because they're not Patrick Swayze. So I'm just going to put it out there. It's a great movie. And it's corny, but it also has Sam Elliott. So how do you not love a movie with Sam Elliott? Yeah, the mustache. He actually has long hair in that movie, and his lines are hilarious. So if you haven't watched Roadhouse, I don't know where you've been for the last almost, 45 years, but you should probably watch it. 40 years, somewhere in that time frame. I don't know. I don't math. But it's been out for a long time, so watch it, enjoy it, do great things. My bad movies, the problem was a lot of them I realized are actually very early 90s movies. But I was trying to find like really bad 80s movies, and we've already talked about the Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme's. All those are corny. They're not great. But the one I'm going to touch on, it's technically 1990, but it is the worst movie, and I can make fun of it because I was an Army pilot, and that is Firebirds. If you have not seen Firebirds with Nicolas Cage and Tommy Lee Jones, do yourself a favor and never watch it unless you want to laugh your butt off at the ridiculousness of helicopter versus helicopter combat. The most ridiculous thing I have ever heard of. Helicopters don't shoot at other helicopters. Helicopters don't shoot at airplanes. They shoot at slow-moving things on the ground. And that's coming from a helicopter pilot. So the idea that you're going to have two helicopters dueling each other like you see dogfights in Top Gun or Iron Eagle, stupid. Also, Nicolas Cage, how he was still an actor after that movie, somebody must like him an awful lot. That's all I'm going to say, because he was so ridiculous. But if you ever meet an Apache pilot in real life, just say, I am the greatest. And they'll just put their head down and shake and walk away and be very embarrassed. So just know that. It's a terrible movie. It's awful. Nicolas Cage was good and gone in 60 seconds. That's about it. All right.
Please.
So
He was good in National Treasures. One
yeah,
time.
I guess he's a good national treasure. We'll give him that.
I think he's on the list, guys. The list. You know what list I'm talking about.
Oh, gosh. Don't even go there. All right. Closing thoughts. Who wants to start off?
We're already on, or it's already over.
Well,
Really,
when
we
you
just
show
got
up
here.
halfway through, yeah. That's how it kind of works. All right, Zach,
Give
plug the
us your
socials.
closing thoughts.
Plug the socials, closing thoughts, Zach.
All right, closing thoughts. Man, what a month it has been. Been a month for me. Can we just get the football season? I know we've been posting a lot about it, but and we've been talking about it, but OTAs, voluntary OTAs are just what that is. It's voluntary. You don't have to show up. So I'm going back to what I missed in the beginning. So there's that thought. Second thing, Casey wants me to plug socials. So if you haven't already, go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter, which is now X, Threads. What else am I missing? The YouTubes. Yeah. Go to our website, talkinbengals.com. And over to you, Nick. Polis.
I have to agree with Bernsey. You know, I am ready for football season. I think I've been saying this ever since everybody started talking about the draft. Just bring on the football season. I'm ready for it to be here. I know Pee Wee football starts up in a little over a month and a half. Pretty excited for that, but you know, there's nothing like watching the Bengals. Other than watching your own kid, that's a lot more rewarding. But you know, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, when your kid's not playing, getting a chance to watch the Bengals whip up on the Steelers, the Ravens, you know, going down to Burrowhead, and you know, I just cannot wait to see what this team is capable of and actually performing. I know we said this a couple years in a row, but I'm actually legitimately excited about this season. And I think that we have a lot of potential this year.
Yep. I'm ready for football season, except for that means that the weather's going to start getting colder again not too long after that. So I want to watch football, but can we move football season to start in May where I can enjoy it during my favorite months of the year?
Technically, there is a football season right now. It's called the United Football League. And AJ McCarron.
Watch that much stuff, though.
Yeah. Battlehawks.
Battlehawks.
If we moved football season earlier in the year, it would end up playing. They would end up playing the Super Bowl during the hottest month known to man.
What?
Yeah.
If you started in May, how are we getting there? Because I said start in May.
July and August. All right, May,
Yeah,
June, July, August.
Yeah, but the Super Bowl would be like November or December.
No,
We'd
it's
be
11
in
o'clock.
October. We'd be in October.
It's 11 o'clock, and I'm just
Nick does the math well this
Done.
time of day.
I'm done. I've been mathing all day long. This is not going well for me.
We're gonna omit that. We'll edit it out, and by edit out, I mean we'll make sure we emphasize it with its own video clip we put on YouTube of Nick just.
Oh, I'm 100% putting it in the reel.
All right, so before we get any more off the rails here, I do want to plug our sponsors. So check out Podium Automotive for all of your automotive needs. They're located on Petersburg Road in Hebron, not too far off the exit. They do fantastic work up front and will only do what needs to be done to your car. No upcharges, no ridiculous fees. Check out Podium Automotive on Facebook for more information. And once again, plugging Constructive Curiosity, go to constructivecuriosity.com for all of your consulting needs for business management, career coaching, or mental performance training and coaching. That's going to do it for us tonight. The clock's telling us to get off of here. Who Dey?
Who Dey?
Thank you for listening to Talkin Bengals. Be sure to like and subscribe to Talkin Bengals on Facebook and Instagram at Talkin Bengals. You can also listen to Talkin Bengals on your preferred podcast provider. See you next time. Who Dey?